Welcome back, YouTube, and as you've seen from my introduction, I got to perform last weekend for the first time in 4 months. Over the course of the last 4 months, I've either been in far too much pain or did not have teeth and was not able to go perform due to being self-conscious and my speech being off, etc. So, as you've seen, they were very welcoming, and it was such an amazing experience. I mean, performing poetry is something I really love to do. A poetry slam is a place where poets or musicians go and they get to perform on stage, or they get to compete in poetry, and we can go into that subject on a later video if you would like. However, I just really wanted to point out how amazing they really are, because it's been such a roller coaster of a situation here, and they were just so warming and welcoming, and I absolutely loved it. Now, getting on to the topic of today's video, we are going to be discussing art, romance, and depression. Sounds like a really good title for my next book. Next book. Yes, my next book, because I will be publishing my first book in 2019. It is called We Lived Here, and it is a poetry compilation written by me about two people who fell in love and then fell apart over time. It is a real-life story of something I actually went through that involved kind of becoming a step-parent to another person's kids. It is full of beautiful memories and big messes, and it's such a roller coaster of a book. A lot of emotions tied into it. But as soon as I learn something, I'll let you guys know. I know I'll be releasing a pre-release date in the next couple of months. I'll definitely link it in the description whenever that time comes, and I'm just really excited to announce that. But now on to the video. First subject we're going to talk about is art and performance, because I know this doesn't pertain to everyone, but there are a lot of people who like to perform who are like, well, if I get dentures, will I still be able to perform the same way that I used to? The answer is yes and no, because I do still somewhat struggle when I'm on stage, because I feel a little self-conscious about my teeth. I think that everyone knows, and I feel like my speech is off a little bit, although I have heard from other people that I sound perfectly normal and perfectly fine. It's something that I'm still kind of struggling with internally. So whenever I'm hearing myself over like the mic, I'm like, oh god, I sound like I'm speaking with a lisp, or I feel like my speech is off. But in reality, nobody really notices that. It's more of a mental thing for you, because you know that you have dentures in. They do not. The second part I want to go into is romance, because this is a lot of people's questions. Am I still going to be attractive? Am I still going to be a good partner? Am I still going to kiss the same, etc.? This is going to be more so the awkward subject for me to talk about. However, let's get into it. If you are in a long-term relationship, 90% of the time, your partner is by your side with this. This isn't something that, was a spontaneous overnight decision. You and your partner have been involved the whole time, and they're going to love you no matter what. Don't let your self-conscious or, internal head say, like, oh, they're not going to love me anymore. Matter of fact, a couple of coworkers of mine who were just a little bit older than me, primarily female, have stated that they sleep with their teeth in because they don't want their partner to roll over in the middle of the night and be like, oh, I don't love them anymore because they don't have teeth. That's not going to happen. Love is a stronger bond than just a physical trait. And if it's all about physical, it's not worth it. Now, as far as me, I have been single for like 6 years. Now, that's a personal choice of mine. A previous relationship went really wrong, and it's not my fear, but more so my motivator to become a better person. So I've been doing, a lot of things with poetry and art, making videos, working a lot, doing what I can to better myself. Now, like I stated earlier in the beginning, I have a book coming out. Well, that was a relationship that wasn't a relationship, but was something that spread out over the course of 10 years, which, if you read the book, you'll understand. So, for me, I haven't, I still am very flirtatious. I smile all the time, and people love it. I haven't had any issues whatsoever as far as people like looking at me like I'm disgusting, minus the fact that I have an overuse of puns and, kind of annoying. But it hasn't made me feel any less beautiful as a person, and I don't feel any worse. As a matter of fact, I feel quite the opposite, because I am putting myself out there more now that I have dentures than I did before, because my teeth were broken and they look gross. Now my smile is beautiful and I can't stop smiling, so it's the first thing that everybody notices, my big pearly white smile. And I love it. Like, honestly, I have more confidence now than I did, 2 months ago when I first started this process. It's absolutely wonderful, and I feel better as a person now that I've done it, because, yes, they're fake, but they're beautiful. And, I'm not saying nobody has to know that they're fake, but at the same time, they don't. And now for the big, sad part of the video, depression. I have been struggling with anxiety and depression disorders since I was about 9 years old. When I was a kid, I was put on Zoloft and other medications to help kind of combat that. However, I don't like medicine. And I keep saying, don't listen to what you're telling yourself as far as, like, thinking you're not beautiful and thinking that you're ugly, because it's not true. And you're going to tell yourself everything you can to prove yourself wrong. Having depression is like, or depression anxiety disorder, as shall I put it, it's either feeling everything or feeling nothing. There's a lot of days where you don't know gray. Now, for the most part, I love my smile and I love the way I look. However, I will add that there are a lot of days where I can't help but feel bad. Like, I feel like I am gross. I feel like I'm disgusting. And it goes way further than dentures, I've always had a poor self-image. However, I know that's only my head talking to me. I know that I am a beautiful person, and I do what I can. I try to become a good person, a better person every day than I was yesterday. But, when you deal with depression, or depression and anxiety disorder, you can't help it. You feel terrible about yourself. And it really does help when you have somebody there with you, going through this by your side, going through it with you by your side the whole time. I, however, have not had anyone. This is all me. Minus my dad and my brother. They're wonderful people. I absolutely love them and cannot express how much gratitude I have towards them. But, like, when it comes to having a partner by your side, somebody who loves you on a different level, that does help. And not having that by my side has been one of the biggest struggles. But what I've come to find out is it brings a whole new level of self-love. You learn to love yourself in a whole different way. And every day is a battle. But every day you gain a little bit more ground, if that makes any sense. And it's okay to have bad days, as long as those don't define you. And that's something that I'm trying my hardest to try to, pull myself into. Though I will note that there are a lot of days where you spiral if you have depression. I've had a couple of days where I didn't get out of bed. Both of my days off, a couple weeks ago actually, I didn't leave my bed hardly at all. Use the bathroom, maybe get something to eat, but, I'm not, not showering, not eating. And that comes with the depression, and, it's about trying to surround yourself with people who love you, surround yourself with people with positivity, the best that you can, even though you don't want to hear it, even though you don't want to deal with it. Those are the days that you need it the most. And just for somebody to say, hey, I love you, you're amazing, you're worth it. I try to be that person for people, because when I was growing up dealing with this, I was isolated and alone, and I didn't hear it enough. So, which is one of the big reasons why I love poetry and music and, the internet, because I have a platform now to talk about loving yourself and to push yourself to that level of acceptance that I am who I am and that's okay. I am who I am and that's okay. I am who I am and that's okay. Because there's a lot of days where it's not. There are a lot of days where you cannot stand that person in the mirror, but that person in the mirror needs love too. And this denture experience, although it has been rough and rocky, has been one of the biggest successes I have had so far in telling myself that on multiple days. And honestly, it's amazing. Because even though these are fake, and I can pull them out, it doesn't look like it. And when I smile in the mirror, the smile is huge, and I love it, and I love myself for it, because I look good and I feel good in my own skin. And if you are dealing with, depression or poor self-image, It's okay to talk to somebody. It's okay to go seek help. That does not make you weak. If anything else, makes you a stronger person because you acknowledge it. If you need to hear this today, I want you to listen to that on repeat. It is okay to get help, and it is okay to reach out. Because for me, for the longest time, that was my biggest issue because I bottled everything up and I would never talk about it. And now that I'm 26, I'm dealing with the repercussions of that. It is okay to get help, and it is okay to ask. And it is okay to love yourself and to not look at yourself in the brightest light. You know, you may not feel like you're perfect, and you're not. And that's good. You know, it's a good thing to not be perfect. You're unique. You're your own self. You're not a cookie cutter. I'm kind of rambling at this point, but, you know, somebody needed to hear that today. You are beautiful, you are amazing, and you are worth it. But on that note, this has been art, depression, and romance, or however order I put it in. Until next time, guys, this is an update on Dillon's denture adventure. Stay beautiful.